Hey, what's up, Street Gods? It's the ANNETTE Kim from the ANNETTE Kim Street Photography Talk. So, I want to show you guys something super cool that visual artist ANNETTE Kim has put together for y'all. So, essentially, these are travel photography tips made by ANNETTE Kim and also ideas from yours truly. And we essentially created this visualization to give you guys some practical tips and insights before you guys end up traveling to whatever destination for travel photography. And I'll essentially give you guys a sneak peek behind it. And if you guys want access to it, you could click the link down below and get access to this and all the other awesome visualizations. So one of the first questions you got to ask yourself is, why travel? Generally, I think in modern society, traveling is seen as a luxury. It's seen as a status symbol, and it's kind of the thing to do. But we never ask ourselves, why travel? Personally, there's different reasons to travel. So, kind of ask yourselves the questions. Do you want to travel in order to open your mind to new experiences, people's cultures? Do you want to travel to perhaps find self-discovery by getting away from the comforts of home and familiar people? Or do you want to travel to take a break from work, relax, and disconnect from work? But I think a lot of people often fall into the fantasy of traveling because they want to escape from reality of boredom. They want to show off to the family peers. We all know that friend who's, chilling at some beach while you're freezing your ass off back home, Snapchatting or Instagramming them drinking a mojito by the beach, perhaps reach enlightenment. I know there's a lot of people who say, once I started traveling, I was able to reach my personal enlightenment, or, just kind of traveling for the sake of seeing things. And, not to say that these reasons are bad reasons, but I think that we should challenge our perceptions of traveling, why we travel. Because the truth is, traveling is not going to solve our life problems. I know for me personally in the past, one of my dreams was to travel the world, and I ended up traveling the world, and still I had the same life problems I did before. And I think traveling for me was a good opportunity for me to reflect on the problems of my life and things I was dissatisfied, but traveling in itself actually did not solve my life problems. And so once again, ask yourself, why should you as an individual travel, and should you? Practical photography travel tips. So before you travel, it's like, okay, where should I go and for how long should I go? One lesson I learned from my travels is it's much more effective to spend less money by avoiding expensive destinations. So one of the first big destinations I traveled to when I was actually in college was backpacking through Western Europe. So like Paris, Rome, London, etc. And the problem was my dollar or my euro or my pound didn't actually go very far. I would actually now recommend, rather than going to more expensive countries, going to like places like Southeast Asia. So like, going to Vietnam. Vietnam is actually one of my favorite destinations. Also, Bangkok is fantastic. And go to places which are more affordable, lighter on the wallet. Even as I make this video, I'm here in Prague. Love Prague. The city is amazing. And the benefit of going to places which are more affordable is that you'll be able to extend your time for traveling. And to be honest, my experience being in Paris, expensive Paris, versus being in more affordable Prague, I actually have a better experience here in Prague because I'm not so stressed out about finances, and therefore I could travel longer. Another practical tip is it's better to travel to fewer places to get to know the places better rather than seeing lots of places superficially. So for example, rather than let's say you want to travel through Europe for like 2 weeks. Rather than spending 1 or 2 days in each city, maybe it's better for you to spend the entire 2 weeks in one city or one place, or 1 week in each place. So for example, when I was in Japan, Cindy, I spent 2 months in Kyoto rather than, a few days in Hokkaido, a few days in Sapporo. And, the reason why is that by getting to know one place very, very well, you actually become more kind of like a local. And this is one saying or adage I learned from Cindy is, when you're traveling, treat it like you're home, and when you're home, treat it like you're traveling, so you could be happy either way. Another practical tip is booking Airbnb instead of more of a Western styled hotel. I personally found Airbnb to be awesome because I like to cook. It's a good way to save money. Also, it's a good way to feel at home when you're traveling abroad. I generally recommend, staying, if possible, a smaller Airbnb in a better location. And also it's good to travel with a partner because you guys are able to get the place to yourself. Also, another practical tip is if you're not able to travel abroad, don't feel like you need to go, spend thousands of dollars on some foreign exotic travels. Rather, spend this opportunity to travel more close to home. So for example, go to the neighboring city, go to the mountains, go to, I love this, that Annette made, within yourself, because once again, I think traveling is a good way to experience new cultures and to open up, broaden your mind, to learn the positive things from other cultures and apply it to your life back home. But a lot of people just travel for the sake of doing selfies in front of landmarks, and they actually don't get a real spiritual experience out of it. So sometimes you could just travel within yourself. I know a lot of people who meditate, they're like, okay, imagine yourself at the beach or something, and it works for them. And in terms of what to pack, honestly, keep it minimalist. Everything you need could fit into one backpack. Trust me, I've done the whole Asian tourist thing, lugging around this huge wheelie thingies, and you're gonna enjoy your travels less when you have more stuff, because stress is like you have to wait to check in your luggage, you got to wait for pick it up. Sometimes you lose your stuff. So by traveling with just one backpack, you'll be able to walk around a lot more with less stress. And also one of the benefits is that you actually learn to live a more minimalist lifestyle. And this will always happens for me, especially once I travel for a long period of time. I go back home, and after having my backpack of just a few things, I open them up my closet, I'm like, why do I have so much shit? Like, I don't need any of this stuff. So at least one of the good things about traveling, which has taught me, is to live a more minimalist life. Also, in terms of camera, one camera, one lens. You don't need all these fancy photo equipment. Honestly, if you're more interested in the experience rather than the photography, just bring your phone. Or, I recommend the Ricoh GR version 2. It's like $600. It's my favorite travel photography camera. Just keep it simple. Just small camera, small lens. And you kind of have to remind yourself too, is that the purpose of traveling and doing photography isn't necessary to just make the world's best photos, but it's also for you to enjoy the travel experience. And the biggest benefit of packing light is that not only is it going to help you conserve physical energy, but mental energy. And also realize too is that, this is hilarious. Even when we're in Japan, we used Amazon while we're in Japan to order some equipment that we needed while we're abroad. So don't be afraid that you have to bring all your stuff, because most places around the world, it's just more or less the same back home. You'll find the Starbucks, you'll find the McDonald's, you'll find the big grocery stores and the electronic stores. So don't stress so much on having to carry everything with yourselves. And I'd actually recommend not to wear cotton clothing, because it takes a long time to dry. Rather, merino wool. Oh my god, this stuff's amazing. Just go on Amazon, search merino wool, and it's a lot lighter. It dries quickly, it doesn't stink. Every night I just wash it in the sink with shampoo, or just wash it in the shower, and you could just travel with 2 pairs. So merino wool shirt, merino wool leggings, merino wool socks, and also for boxers or underwear, I recommend Ex Officio. It's fantastic as well. When you're traveling, how do you make better travel photos? Love this. Don't be suckered by the exotic. Avoid the tourist traps. So, of course, the first time you go to India, you want to photograph, the guys with the beard, and you want to go to the local tourist traps, and you end up overpaying for like a lasagna or whatever. I think it's fine to do touristy stuff, but just know that you might be getting suckered. A practical tip I would give you is that when you're talking to your Airbnb host, you're talking to the hotel front desk, or even talking to locals, ask them, what do people like? What do you recommend me not to see? What do locals avoid? And even asking people, it's like, what is your favorite place to go eat on the weekends or hang out on the weekends? You'll find a lot better recommendations. Also, when you're photographing a local place, so let's say, I'm in Japan, imagine yourself like a local photographer. If I was a Japanese photographer living in Tokyo for like 10 years, what would I not photograph? So you'd probably not photograph all the weird Japanese, anime stuff. It might be a little bit boring to you. And the reason why this is good is that you'll make more interesting, authentic images rather than just photographing, once again, the exotic. And these are practical tips I would give you guys in terms of photographing in the streets. Photograph busy crosswalks. You'll find interesting folks. A lot of people aren't going to pay attention to you. Photograph in restaurants, coffee shops. Photograph in the subway, public transportation. Even make photos inside the grocery stores. Going to the grocery store is actually one of my favorite hobbies with Cindy when we're traveling. Also, to make better compositions, use dynamic compositions such as low angle perspectives. So I was literally laying down on my ground, photographing Cindy against this epic building here, or from really high perspectives like crosswalks, up looking down. Also trying to look for diagonal composition. So sometimes I'll just look for an interesting diagonal composition in the background and just wait for the right person to enter the frame. And, you know, if you guys want to get some more practical tips and improve your photography, yeah, attend one of my workshops. So just Google Eric Kim workshop or Eric Kim experience. And the reason why I love to travel and teach these workshops is that I have such a huge passion for teaching, sharing experiences, and there is something to be said about being abroad to totally immerse yourself in photography and sharing your passion for photography. And also it's kind of a fun excuse to go to an interesting city. And the reason why I like to spend money on travel experiences is because these experiences will last with you forever, and you'll learn the practical tools, techniques in your photography to improve your photography, especially back home. And I love what I do, and you could just go to erickinphotography.com/blog or just go on Google's and search Eric Kim workshops. And final thoughts. So, 1, don't travel for the sake of traveling. Have a goal for your travels. Personally, when I travel, I actually like to use it as an excuse to feel a little bit uncomfortable, to learn more about foreign cultures and think about what are the benefits of foreign cultures that I could apply back home. So for example, and this is totally random, like here in Prague, they don't give free water. And I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty smart because it forces me to buy a beer or to buy coffee or something instead. And these are just kind of little random things. But generally when me and Cindy are traveling, we actually aren't actually seeing touristy things. We're actually just mostly staying at Airbnb doing work. And so it kind of gives us an opportunity to meet more local people with different opportunities, with different mindsets to essentially broaden our minds. Also remember, the person you are matters more than the places you go. So there's a saying, you know, no matter wherever you travel, you're just trying to escape yourself and you'll never escape yourself. Essentially what that means is that don't feel like going to New York City or going to an interesting place or a city is going to totally transform who you are. This is kind of hard for me to realize too, because a lot of the big reasons why I started traveling was I was dissatisfied with my life. And I felt that, oh, if I was in New York City, if I was in LA, I was in Tokyo, whatever, I'd be a lot happier. And the truth is, you're not. Like your problems still follow with you. But once again, one of the good reasons to travel is that it gives you a chance to journal, to meditate, to reflect on your life. And remember, when this, like traveling, try to live like you are back home when you're abroad traveling. So for example, when we're in Airbnbs traveling abroad, we're usually staying in, you know, we're eating at local places. We actually don't leave within probably a 10-20 minute walk from where we are. And we essentially just go to coffee shops, nice little restaurants close by, and we try to live like a local. And the last tip is know that when you're traveling and doing photography, the experiences you make are more important than the pictures you take, which means in my personal life, I was like, okay, the first time I go to Paris, I'm gonna make all these amazing photos like Cartier-Bresson. I go to Paris, I'm trying to make really, really good pictures, but I'm so focused on making good pictures. I actually don't enjoy my travel experience. Then I go back home and I look through all my pictures. I'm like, man, my pictures suck. And then I'm like, wait, what do I actually remember from Paris which I enjoyed? Like, was there any interesting strangers I talked to? Is there nice meals that I had? Is there any reflections I've had on my life? So once again, enjoy the journey of the experience of traveling, not just the pictures you take. So if you want to design your own logo, have your own branding, have your own visualizations, contact Annette Kim, annettekimart@gmail.com. She's available for commissions. And if you guys want to learn more about the haptic products, go to hapticindustries.com. hapticindustries.com. And I'll include a link below for you guys to check out some more dope stuff to empower yourself in photography, and also check out some of my upcoming travel experiences. The really, really cool ones that you want to check out is the one in Kyoto in May 2nd to the 5th, and the week-long Tokyo travel street photography experience May 9th to the 13th. If you have any questions, hit up my manager Neil at neilta@gmail.com. All right, thanks a lot for watching, guys. And once again, remind yourself that traveling isn't a way to reach enlightenment. It's a way for you to step a little bit outside your comfort zone, have experiences that stay with you for the rest of your life, and it's actually something that's going to help you grow in your personal life. All right, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Peace out.